When a bullet is fired from a gun, that means that the bullet is in motion, and it will stay in motion unless an outside force acts on it. This outside force can be gravity or an object. Here's an interesting fact. If you fired a gun and dropped a bullet, the same bullet fired from the gun, at the same exact time, if you shot the bullet and the bullet landed on level ground for its entire path of projectile, both bullets would hit the ground at the same time because gravity acts on every object equally. Another example is when a cartridge, which is also called a shell, is pushed back on the same amount of force of the gases from the gunpowder. In short, this is the recoil of the gun. Loading of a new cartridge. A semi or fully automatic weapon uses some of the energy from the last bullet fired to eject and load a new cartridge. The gun itself follows Newton's laws. The gun stands still. This gun will continue to stand still unless an outside force acts on it and moves it. Newton's second law of motion is force equals mass times acceleration. The mass of a .270 caliber bullet is 1.0473080723373. That's a mouthful. Approximately 1 gram. Its acceleration is 3010. So that huge number times 3010 equals 2874. Its speed is faster than the speed of sound. So if you shot a bullet at an object and the object could hear sounds, the object would feel the bullet before it heard the sound. If you were to hit a tree with your gun, and your gun weighs 20 pounds, and you hit the tree at 100 miles an hour, let's just pretend, then the force is 2,000, becomes 20 times 100 equals 2,000. If you are cleaning your gun and you apply too much force on the cleaning rod, and your rod slips at 15 miles per hour, and if the rod weighs 1 pound, your force would equal 15, because 1 times 15 equals 15. Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. A firing pin would hit a primer. The primer sets off a spark, which burns gunpowder. The gases of the gunpowder expand. This pushes the bullet out of the barrel, expanding the gases' forces. This is the force of the recoil, which is the same as the force of the gases. The action of cleaning a gun is the force of pushing the cleaning rod into the barrel and out again. The reaction is applied to the barrel, removing all metal flakes and burnt gunpowder from the barrel. If a primer ignited gunpowder, then the expanded gases would also expand the cartridge a small amount because of their intense pressure. If a cartridge is reloaded, which is using the same bullet, the same shell that has already been fired, and using a special machine to shrink it down to the regular size because it got expanded a small amount, this is the force of shrinking the cartridge down to the regular size.